Welcome to geek-span, everybody. I'm your host, Wes, and I'm here with my good friend, Skip. How you doing, buddy?
Oh man, I'm a little worse for the wear, but I'm here. I'm ready to geek out on some news spanning the geek culture.
Man, you must be getting older because you've been sick for about a month now, man. Are you gonna heal? Are you ever gonna be better?
Dude, ever since they sucked my mutant X gene out of me, my healing factor has gone way down. So, if Deadpool wants to show up and lend me a little bit, or if Logan wants to come through and hook your boy up, heck, I'll take Creed's healing ability right now. It's controversial.
I don't know. Ever since you planted those House of X seeds, and you accepted the gift from Charles, you've been sickly, man. I think maybe he infiltrated you. What do you think?
Well, Wes, it's because I'm a mutant. So that, a super antibiotic and that mental health pill and the one that expands my lifespan. I'm not a human, man, so I don't get those benefits, Wes. But I do have my seeds. They have been planted, and I'll be in Philadelphia. The other, I'll be in the Philippines soon enough.
Oh, well, that'd be amazing. So I hope you're ready for your Geek Culture 411, my friend. Let's get into our first topic. Warner Brothers released a long-awaited trailer for Birds of Prey starring Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. Yeah, are you impressed with their performance?
Oh my goodness, man, this one hurts. Oh, this one hurts. So it almost kind of reminded me of what happened with Captain Marvel. Brie Larson's from Sacramento. Obviously, I'm from Sacramento, and when I heard about the news originally, I was like interested, and then we started to see stuff, and very obviously, this trailer is one of the things we've seen outside of the posters too. This is not a Birds of Prey movie. So I can't really be excited about a Birds of Prey movie that's not a Birds of Prey movie, Wes.
I'm with you, man. It's a Harley Quinn movie. It doesn't make really any sense to me. It's Birds of Prey should be a Barbara Gordon vehicle. And I don't understand. There's not a lot of less able characters that are superheroes in comics. You have the Oracle. Barbara Gordon would be perfect. Show a different character with a disability in a heroic fashion. And they just decided to take the most popular cosplay character in the world, I guess, and put her front and center instead of the actual Birds of Prey. And I'll be honest, the trailer looks really bad. It looks just as bad as Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad was awful.
And it was crazy to me that we had heard that there was some things going on the set or during the editing process, and then we heard the rumblings of, okay, they there is a trailer coming out, so we see the trailer, and it's stylized in this crazy way where it's like, yeah, that like it looks cool. But once you get past just how it looks and what they're trying to tell us, it's like, it's just a bunch of goobly gook. And then it's literally what they did with this. It's like they just, when I got really concerned was when I saw that little teaser that they did, that little tester, the costume test, camera test thing. Like, I was like, this, like, Huntress doesn't look enough like Huntress to me. The only person that was accurate that I was like, okay, cool, was Renee Montoya, played by Rosie Perez.
Yes, that kind of made sense to me. But,
Yeah,
like, even like Black Mask should be like a really cool villain. It doesn't look right to me at all. I don't. Is Ewan McGregor Black Mask? It doesn't.
Wes, he doesn't even wear a black mask.
I know. I remember when Hugo Weaving was for Red Skull. I was like, that's interesting, but at least he's a really cool villainous character. I think he'll step into that. I do not feel that way with Ewan McGregor's Black Mask, but he'll probably be the best part of the movie. So that tells you where I'm thinking about this one.
Yeah, that's kind of where I've arrived with it too. I think he's going to be the best part of the movie, and unfortunately, I've heard some things that have leaked, quote unquote. Who knows how reliable those leaks are? But his motivation for his role in the movie, I mean, like Black Mask's motivation for how he's portrayed and what he does in the movie, I'm not even gonna say what I've heard. All I'm gonna say is I really hope not, and not even because of. I mean, I will mention that I've heard that he's gay inside of the movie. no big deal. That alone would not concern me. I don't know that to be true from the comics, but that alone wouldn't concern me. But it's the motivation behind that and what he's trying to get back, and some of the things that I heard happen between him and Victor Zsasz. I was just like, what is this? What is this turning into? I don't know, man. It just, like, it was way too much Harley Quinn in the trailer. Any snippets that we got of people who I do really like, I like the Black Canary character. I like the actress that they picked for it. I'm not so fond of how it got swapped, but okay, if that's who you chose, cool. But can you, like, she's actually a good actress. Can you give her like a role in the movie?
A line, maybe? Maybe could she say a word?
A word would be
I think
nice,
she
Wes.
picked up like a weapon, and that was about it, right?
That was it. Like an angsty, looks up from the drinking glass. I mean, and even I do like the fact that they incorporated the musical part, but I mean, I'm way more excited about like a Black Canary punk rock band than I am a Black Canary, like, I don't. It's like they took the Luke Cage scene and was like, we're gonna take this actress, we're gonna say she's Black Canary, and we're just throw her in the Luke Cage scene at the jazz club. I'm just like, not.
I don't know, man.
I'm not gonna watch.
I feel way worse for you than I do for me, because I think you might actually have to watch it. Isn't that an obligation if you're particularly another likes Harley Quinn?
Yeah, you're right. I might have to. Her and I are gonna have a conversation about which version of Harley Quinn she likes, because she knows I like the Paul Dini one. But I love Margot Robbie, but I feel like it wasn't even bad casting her as Harley Quinn, but I think the creative decisions behind, like, she nailed the accent, like the East Coast, hiya, like that whole thing. She nailed it in Wolf of Wall Street. Why did they not have her do that in Suicide Squad? Wes,
Suicide Squad was a train wreck of a production. Started out with promise, and it immediately went to crap as the one girl just did this for the whole movie.
What is that?
That was Joker, not
like. Are you testing?
That was the Joker, not the villain in that movie. It made no sense. Why isn't the Joker the villain in this movie? It makes no damn sense.
I swear, like, if they ever let me go to the WB offices and like I get past security and I get into like the room where it's like CEO's office, and I open up the door, it's just gonna be a gerbil, like in a cage. Like, that's who's running WB, a gerbil in a cage, or like on the little wheel. This is ridiculous.
They have no feel for comic book movies and what they do. Aquaman was a big hit. I didn't even like that one. I thought Shazam was really good.
I felt Jeff Johns' influence on Wonder Woman and on Shazam. I felt it. If you read Jeff Johns and you like Jeff Johns, you know what he feels like. You felt it in there. Aquaman, I was actually surprised about. I went and saw it, and I had no intentions of really getting into it. And I walked out, and I was like, I was entertained. Interesting. Mm-hmm. Didn't love it, but I tell you this is the weird thing that threw off so many people around me. I enjoyed Aquaman more than I enjoyed Into the Spider-Verse.
There you go. Into the Spider-Verse is kind of weird. It has some glitchy animation style that give you put you into a little conniption fit, maybe. Yeah, tremors.
It can induce seizures, that's for sure. Yeah. I actually really enjoyed the art, but it was just the storyline, like, just Miles kind of being a Gary Stu. Like, he didn't really train or nothing, and Peter told him a few things, and he thought happy feelings and whatever.
All right, have we beaten that dead horse?
We've beaten that dead horse back to death. We might have beaten it back to life again. I don't know, Wes.
All right, let's get to something a little bit cooler. Marvel recently released a teaser for Dawn of X series Excalibur. The picture depicts Apocalypse with the tagline, "Some mutants are never satisfied." Is this an ominous warning of Apocalypse's dissatisfaction with the direction of Krakoa?
To me, it's not his dissatisfaction with the direction of Krakoa. To me, it's just his experience and knowledge, knowing like finally guys are on the same page as me, but I know you guys aren't on the same paragraph, let alone the same sentence. So being that you're close enough, I'm going to let you continue to be happy and celebrate and, in paradise, but I will install my influence and we will do my bidding, whether it be just with that Excalibur team or whether it expand past that. That's how I'm thinking Apocalypse is approaching this. What do you think, Wes?
Yeah, it's an interesting picture. At the end of the last issue, we were kind of going, Apocalypse is off on his own. He doesn't fully invested in this celebration deal because he sees a bigger picture, lying ahead. And I think this is just a continuation of that. They haven't really promoted Excalibur very much. I don't really see the direction launching out of Powers of 10 House of X really like I do Marauders and X-Force. So I think it's probably smart to get a teaser out there with the big character on there. And I don't think Apocalypse is going to be part of Excalibur for that long, to be completely honest. But I think he'll be a big part of the first couple storylines. And, I'm interested, to see what, why isn't he satisfied? What does he want for them to do more? Where does he actually want to take the X-Men? And is it too far? Is Charles going to have to pump the brakes and be like, oh, I don't know if I can do that?
Yeah, that's the thing about Apocalypse, right? Like, he's an extremist, like to the letter, and it's interesting. Like his the reason why he's extreme, or at least what we can attribute it to, is because of his experience. He is the first mutant with that. He knows that he's the essence almost of mutantdom. So for him, he's seen the worst of it. And in a society that's more highly evolved, where there's more rules and this and that, he's like, I've seen how good those rules are. And let me tell you, when those rules will eventually turn on you, and they will fall in on you. And when they do, you're going to crawl to me. That's already his mentality. So it's going to be interesting. I'm just glad that we left a very obvious storyline. And I think for Apocalypse to be 150% bought into this would be way too off brand for his character. So I just think it's consistent with who Apocalypse is.
All right. So are you now excited for Excalibur after this teaser image?
I am. I'm there's not one of the books at this point that I'm not excited about, but Excalibur is probably, X-Men is number 1 for me. New Mutants is number 2. Marauders is number 3. So this would be like number 4 probably in line.
Man, left off Fallen Angels and X-Force. Those are my two most excited for.
I'm very excited for those ones, but those ones, the ones that I mentioned, have me a little more intrigued. Not that I think that they'll necessarily all be better, but the 2 Hickman books are obviously going to be at the top of my list: New Mutants and then X-Men 1. And then the other ones, I'm very intrigued by Marauders, of course, because of the implications of them, being part of the black market and go in and get the mutants that can't get out the countries. That just spells like some fun for me, especially since they got to do it on the ocean where Namor is king. So that's why I'm interested.
All right. Marvel dropped the second teaser image with Iron Man 2020, a.k.a. Arno Stark, standing over the grave of Tony Stark. Yeah, is Arno Stark going to kill his brother Tony, or does this hint at something more?
I don't think he's going to kill him. I think it's I think it's something more, for lack of a better term. To me, I would look at it as something less. I'm just sick and tired of them doing this. Just even playing around with the concept. He just died.
Just came back.
Like not that long ago, and then now we're teasing him dying again. Wes, it's this type of stuff has C.B. Cebulski and his Legion of Doofuses written all over it. I mean, I think that might be their signature right there next to
the Tom Report special if I've ever seen one, man. This is just stupid. First of all, the character just came back to life. Number 2, Tony Stark Iron Man sells like buttholes. How about you launch a Tony Stark Iron Man comic that sells, that people like, and then launch an event out of that? Why are they even? It doesn't make any sense. Nobody's going to read it because no one's interested in the character right now, because Marvel isn't doing it any justice.
Right. So I guess their scheme is, so since no one cares, we'll say we're going to kill him to make people care, to scare people into buying the book so they'll be intrigued. Does that sound good?
Yes. Yeah, this direction with Tony Stark isn't working. How do we pump up sales? Let's launch an event out of it.
And let's
How
teach
about we
killing.
scale it back, get the character right, build it up, and then launch an event out of that? Then you have something like Absolute Carnage that everyone likes, and not something like Age of X-Men, which didn't do anything, didn't move the needle, and might as well not have existed because no one read it.
Facts, Wes. Facts. They continue. It's so weird. Minus X-Men and again, even though I'm not the biggest Donnie Coates fan, every time I see he reminds me of, like, if there was a problem child 4, I imagine it would be Donnie Cates, a little kid with the bleached dyed hair. He's just got that face. I like it. I like his character. I like him as a person. Unfortunately, I just don't really get into his books. But I'm glad that they're books that are. I can still, when I read it, when you had me read that Carnage book, I didn't love it, but I could tell it was a good story. There was no fluff. There wasn't any agenda. It was a book about the freaking characters with the creative ideas and fantastic characterizations of those characters. So,
and
yeah,
it was built in Venom, probably their third or their fourth best-selling ongoing series, and they built it for over a year.
Over a year, slow cook. They took their time to build it up.
That's how you make an event important,
right?
What they're doing right here, how you make an event not resonate with anyone and make it not important. Who cares what happens with Tony Stark 2020? Because who cares about Tony Stark right now?
Nobody.
Marvel Comics version of Tony Stark, unless it's an Avengers, which is better, sucks.
Straight up. So to me, they have all the data in front of them. They can see what works. They can see what doesn't. And they choose to put money and effort behind stupid and terrible ideas. And here we are.
You know what? You want to do a big Tony Stark 2020 event? Put a good writer on there. Put Rick Remender on Iron Man for a year and see what happens.
Wes, now you're talking my language, my friend. Now you're thinking critical.
Absolutely.
What we got next?
All right. Superman Returns star Brandon Routh is set to reprise his role as the Man of Steel during the CW's Crisis on Infinite Earths Arrowverse crossover. His latest Superman costume should look very familiar to fans of Alex Ross's Kingdom Come. What do you make of Brandon Routh reprising his role as an older Clark Kent Superman?
I'm with it because I'm one of those people that I can forgive continuity. I can forgive most continuity snafus, for the sake of how meta it is and for the sake of how it'll hit me right there, hit me in the heart button. So I'm with it. I really enjoyed his portrayal as the Atom. I was one of those crazy people on my previous comic book channel and podcast where I would watch every single one of these shows because there would be some form of review that we did. So there was a time where from Monday to Thursday, I was watching Arrow, Flash. I forgot what the other one. There was like another one. Actually, I forgot what it was. And then of course, Legends of Tomorrow. Yeah. So I was watching and Supergirl. I was even watching as much as I could stand of it. I was watching Supergirl too. So I used to really be into these shows. One day I just was like, I'm over it. I'm done. I'm not watching any. So I haven't watched any of them since, except for the events. And they've been, dude, every time they do an event, I mean, like, they do them better than the movies do. Like multiple episodes, it feels like a comic where you're getting issue to issue. So this I'm very happy with, again, because of how meta it is. Brandon Routh just continues to be a good sport. He's one of those guys that's just like, if you're in sports, this is one of the guys you want to have in your locker room. He's consistent, always brings positive energy, and he's the guy that when he shows up, everybody's always happy to see him. So I'm pretty excited. But what were some of how do you feel about hearing this news, Wes?
Well, I think it's good. I like Brandon Routh. I feel bad for him because Superman Returns is a bad movie. But it's not because of him. The script sucked. It was just boring.
Yeah.
A Superman movie should be a lot of things, but boring isn't one of them. And they didn't even really let him portray Superman. He might have had 4 lines of dialogue in the whole movie. He was standing there.
It was
there's a couple memorable moments.
Yeah.
The movie itself just fell flat. They had a weird Lois Lane choice. But I like this. I like that they brought back John Wesley Shipp to play the Flash. in a crossover event. I'm glad they're bringing Bran and Ralph back as Superman. Heck, I want to see the Kal-El from Smallville back as well. Bring them all back. Give me some nostalgia. I like nostalgia. It makes me feel good. I think they picked the wrong costume. They probably should want to do something with Kingdom Come bigger than just this, because that's one of the best Superman stories ever. But, that's on them, not me. That's certainly not a Brandon Ralph problem. I like it. I like nostalgia. Bring them all back.
I'm on Team West. Bring them all back, man. It feels good. And let me tell you, as much as we struggle with the source of these characters, you know, in comics, and them not getting it right and letting Lord knows who just do whatever they want with these characters, for the TV shows, for them to, and I'm gonna put a big chunk of this on Greg Berlanti. Greg Berlanti, like, must have really loved these books, and you know, he adapts them for television the best he can, and better than anyone. And yeah, I love how they continue to bring everybody back. How they even brought my boy Luke Skywalker. How am I forgetting the actor's name? Luke Skywalker. I can't. Oh, this just feels bad.
Can you hear me?
Huh?
Mark Hamill.
Mark Hamill, the Joker.
He was the trickster, right?
Yeah, he was the trickster in Flash. Of course, played the voice of the Joker. In Batman animated series, but I love how they brought him back for some episodes too, man. It's like, hey, if you're gonna screw with time, and they have screwed with time in the Flash, let me tell you, at least drop some stuff in here like that's where it's like, okay, well, if you're gonna do like that, then you can. My name's Barry Allen, and I'm addicted to screwing up the timeline. Well, you can screw it up if you're gonna bring Mark Hamill in. So I'm with it, Wes. I'm excited.
And if they do a Batman Beyond, Michael Keaton ends over the mantle.
So
who wouldn't want to see that?
Hold on, wait. Okay, hold on. So you're saying that if they do Batman Beyond, bring Michael Keaton in as Old Man Bruce Wayne?
Absolutely.
Wouldn't
that be amazing?
Dude, that's like meta for meta, because he did Birdman, where he basically lived his own life on the movie. And now he's gonna, that would be, my mind would like implode. Do it. There's no better way to die. Do it.
All right, let's get to some more somber news. IDW continues to lose money across various divisions, including publishing. Despite their current financial woes, IDW just announced several new hires for their publishing division. It's felt like IDW is doomed for some time. Are these changes too little, too late?
In my mind, they're definitely too little, too late. You know, me being a person who, you know, has been watching your channel and your content for a long time, some of the IDW news and videos that you did were like really, really, really insightful. And it just like, it shocks my mind that they continue to lose money, and not only lose money like quarter after quarter, people continue to loan them money. And it's very obvious, you know, like you had made mention in some of your videos, that they're obviously really trying to hold out and swing for the fences on their IP getting purchased, because they see that, you know, the way that they choose to publish comics, you know, is no longer sustainable for them. So they're just like, look, we're burning out. Let's just try to like keep pumping money into this until finally someone comes and pulls a, you know, what happened to Mark Millar and whatnot, just buys up all of our IP or a large chunk of it, and then that will bail us out. Won't even really make them any money, honestly. It'll just allow the people who have jobs there to kind of have jobs there a little bit longer until the people that bought the IP decide to, you know, replace them. But I haven't seen, it's been a long time since I've seen such a terrible business model, like continue to be allowed to do this. And then now they also hire executives. Like, I mean, did you fire the other ones first?
They need a lot more than to reshuffle the decks of the publishing division. They made a terrible decision deciding they needed to be in the TV realm when they don't own the IP that they distribute. That's important. All they had was like Lock and Key and Winona Earp, and they paid for all those productions out of pocket, hoping that they would hit big. They didn't. They lost their asses. Now they're just treading water. They're taking on financing that they can't afford. They haven't been able to borrow money to a traditional lender for well over a year now. Their credit's just garbage. yeah, there's way too little too late. They can't save it now. And it's not the publishing division's fault. It's not their comics. You know, some people are like, well, they went woke, they went broke. That's not actually what killed him. What killed him was self financing Winona Earp, trying to finance October Faction, trying to finance through their own on lock and for streaming services. They weren't big IPs. They weren't, you know, they took all the risk, and therefore they're going to end up dying because of it.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, and I mean, it's they're just slowly bleeding out, and it's like they're bleeding out from two holes, but someone just keeps pumping green blood into the other end of the wound, and it's gonna come a time where the other end is leaking too much, and the money won't be able to keep up. And I can't imagine, in my estimation, I can't imagine this. Like I would say by March 2020, I can't, if they have not been saved by some miracle, I can't see them being around any longer in this capacity.
Yeah, I mean, an angel investor could come in and save them, I guess. Winona Earp season 4 could hit big, or it's all a bunch of ifs. Most likely, none of them are going to happen. They would need multiple things to really happen, and it's kind of getting embarrassing. I believe they're doing a Kickstarter to fund their Winona Earp season 3 Blu-ray release. They're getting desperate. They can't even finance the release of the Blu-ray, which is something that should be a guaranteed money. For you know, collectors buy that stuff. So.
Yeah, the ship is sinking. Yeah, I don't see how it's gonna bounce back.
All right, another one bites the dust. Hopefully, it doesn't happen, but I say within 18 months they're toast.
Yeah, I'm feeling that.
All right, last topic. During a recent interview with CBR.com, Green Lantern writer Grant Morrison said, "Doctor Who is an obvious big influence and has always been, and I think the structure and the whole season has been laid out and it's quite like Doctor Who, like a Doctor Who season." Speaking about Green Lantern, why do Marvel and DC continue thinking they're in the TV and streaming business? Are you buying any of this comic book seasons nonsense?
I'm no, I'm not buying any of it at all. They won't get a penny from me on this season business. You know, again, this just shows you what happens when you don't sit down and realize who your fans are and focus on what the core of the issue is and what people rally around and will buy and support. Now, I mean, it's Grant Morrison, so if anybody's going to buy into a harebrained, you know, like unconventional scheme, you know, it's gonna be unconventional Grant Morrison. But you know, he's crazy enough to believe in it. You know what I mean, and champion it and get behind it. But I smell it from out here in Sacramento, and I mean, I'll go on record to say right now that this isn't something. This is not something that's gonna be a shot in the arm to Green Lantern, let alone DC. So again, it's just them flailing, man, just flailing. I don't, Wes. I kind of need to know what you think about it more, Wes. What do you think?
But it's so weird. I don't know if everyone knows this, but I'm a huge pro wrestling fan. And WWE tries to do this stupid stuff all the time. Just this week, they're like, "This is the season premiere." It's like, you have a new episode of wrestling every week of the year. You don't have seasons. It's a continuous, ongoing story. Essentially the same thing is going on with comics with, you know, characters like your Green Lantern, Batman, and stuff. Yeah, you have miniseries and stuff, but those aren't seasons. Those are stories. Once the story's over, maybe you'll get a sequel sometime, but that's more like a movie thing. They need to stop trying to act like they're in the TV business in episodic television, because comic books aren't the same. They're evergreen. They go on forever. They aren't meant to be compartmentalized into seasons. Just because it worked for the Daredevil Netflix show doesn't mean that's going to work for the Daredevil comic book. That's not the way comic book readers consume their that entertainment, and I don't see it changing. You know, I know I can't remember the name of the company. They just release like they're binge releasing comics like Sarah and some other ones. You know, you get the whole story. You know, you get all 6 issues, and it comes in. There's probably a niche market for that. You know, for like prestige format. You know, here's the whole story.
Right.
But that's not what Marvel and DC are selling, and that's not what their customers want. I really just knock it off with the seasons business. You're in the comic book business, you're not in the TV business, you're not in the streaming business.
It's rubbish.
Like comic book.
It's utter rubbish, and I agree with you. Like, and here's my thing. I don't want to say don't try different things, because I don't want to hold back innovation. But at the same time, like all this shows me is that they don't understand their own business. That's all this shows me. If you do want to experiment with some things, that's why you should keep things like a Vertigo, or even if Vertigo goes too sacred, you know, keep something like a Young Animal. That's where you can go ahead and do some experimentation and get the data and the feedback and see. But there are very specific reasons, why there's seasons in television. These actors they want to take those opportunities and see if they can get bigger roles. The crews need a break. Like you're talking about something that takes, a 80-person crew, and that's just on set for certain things, versus something that's like maybe a 4-person crew to get this comic book out. So there are many reasons why the deployment schemes are different across the two mediums. And if they literally are owned by companies that have executives that oversee those two different ones, if they're not going to them and asking them, why does this work for you guys? And then going to the other one and being like, why does this work for us, or why isn't it working? If they're not asking those very simple questions to people that they can, at the very least, email, if they're too busy to talk to you, then that's on them. And stuff like this, when this doesn't work and the numbers go down, they're only getting what they deserve and what they earn.
Yeah, it's Green Lantern's on hiatus here a couple of weeks. They can do like a Black Stars 3 issues story. So season 2 will premiere. Let me just say this: I ain't buying what you're selling, Grant Morris, more DC Comics. Just keep making the story. Stop talking about seasons and focus on doing the best story you can.
Yeah, stay away from the peyote.
All right, so that was our final topic. You got anything else for the show before we sign off?
I just want to give another big thank you to Tabu Ohana, our sponsor. Gaming chairs. Damn. They've been really awesome. One of the key things about them is they do work with orphans. They're a company started by immigrants who were actually veterans as well in the U.S. military, and they serve orphans. So anytime there's something where it serves people in need, especially kids, I'm all for it. So if you guys are in need of not only a gaming chair, but just a chair for the office, they come in black. And, if you do purchase, just know that, like I said, we forfeited our portion to make the chairs cheaper so we can sell more chairs so the orphans get more support. So the link will be in the description. Feel free to take a look at it. And also, if you have any questions about it, I'm at Skip and Tosh on Twitter, so feel free to hit me up. And again, I just want to thank you guys for tuning into the news, and stay tuned because we know New York Comic Con is happening right now. So Wes and I are trying to figure out how to keep you guys up to date on some of the key news coming from there. So keep your eyes out.
All right, that'll do it for the show. Thank you so much for joining us. As always, we brought you Geek Culture Fun One and all your comic industry news.